happy? Good evening, everybody. Don't sound so happy. Good evening, everybody. So, for those of you who are loitering at the back, we'd like for you to come and fill some of these seats, if you can. If you're still eating, that's fine. For those who aren't, if you can come forward, that would be great. I want to give everybody a warm welcome. So, my name is Edwin Baker and I work for KLTV. I am managing this Wise Words, or should I say Windrush Wise Words project. So it's a real pleasure and honour for me to welcome you all here today for this official launch. We also have individuals online, so you are welcome too. You all can't see you, but you're welcome. I want to begin by just giving some hearty round of applause to our caterers. Available for weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, etc., etc., etc. I'll be looking for my 10%. I also want to thank my good friend Joshua Robinson, who will be playing those keyboards in the background whilst we're doing feed music. Like I said, it's an absolute honour for me to welcome you to the launch of Windrush Wise Words 2025. It's a groundbreaking project that celebrates the resilience, the legacy, and the invaluable contributions of the Windrush generation. We've come together not just to commemorate history, but to bring it to life through the power of storytelling, education, and shared connection. This project is a labour of love and legacy. Produced by KLTV in collaboration with the National Education Union and Representative Cormac Kelly will share a few words a little later on. Windrush Wise Words preserves 16 unique personal stories that are narratives of courage, culture, and community that shaped modern Britain, and more importantly, our town, Huddersfield. These aren't just stories, they are lifelines to our past, bridges to our understanding, and tools to inspire the future generation. So this evening you're going to experience just a glimpse of these stories through a short film, and you'll see how they've been transformed into dynamic educational resources for schools and communities. But this project is more than just an archive. It's a movement to foster pride, unity, and education across generations. But before we officially begin, I just want to thank or extend a heartfelt thanks to those who are going to contribute this evening. I'll start left to right. My good friend, Dr. Milton Brown. Followed by our own wonderful Mayor of Kirklees, Liz Smage. And then my good friend, Alison Lowe, who is the Deputy Mayor of West Yorkshire. I'll pass the next gentleman and move to my good friend here Amanda Pinnock, who is the counsellor for the Ashbrow Ward. Yeah, my good friend. Don't worry, I'm coming to you. And then our very three special guests who are going to feature in the film this evening. Mr. Johnny Flowers. Mr. Henderson Gill. And last but by no means least, Dr. Helen Wells. Now, I'm not going to be stalking all night, thank God. We are very pleased that my good friend Amanda Pinnock has agreed to host this evening. Now, for those... I just want to share a little something you might not know. Amanda used to be a church girl. She used to attend the church that I go to, and I'm the elder of, which is the Huddersfield Seventh-day Adventist Church in Crossland Moor. I don't know if she remembers. Remember we sang a duet one time? I played the guitar, Amanda sang. Do it again. Let me do it again, eh? No. But she says she can't sing anymore. But I'm delighted that Amanda, who has been instrumental in championing community voices and cultural heritage in Kirklees, has agreed to host this evening. And so, without further ado, Amanda Pinnock.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you for those nice, warm, and kind words. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. That's much better. God is good. All the time. Okay, so I've been asked to host today, so I'm just going to say a few words about Windrush and the Windrush generation. And just to say that this time of the year, for me, is the most exciting. As well as Windrush Day and Black History Month, for me, those 2 days are synonymous with the African and African Caribbean community. It's the time of year where we celebrate, or we should be celebrating the most, the positive achievements of the community. And I see it as a celebration, but I also see it as a recognition of the positive contributions that the Windrush generation has made in the UK, but right here in Huddersfield. But also to reflect on the adversity, the difficulties that the Windrush generation faced when they first came here. And as we know, people of colour are still facing difficulties today. And what I'm referring to are things like discrimination and institutional racism. That's probably for another day, and I'm looking towards Milton. Hopefully the next event that we have may feature that to a large extent. But when we talk about the Windrush generation, we're referring to people that were invited here after the Second World War, who answered the call, the invitation from the government at its time to come and rebuild the country after the Second World War. And we know this country was in a bit of a mess after the war. We know what we needed here was infrastructure, and we needed people to work in jobs where pretty much they were lacking in those areas. So people from the Caribbean, from where my parents came from, where my grandparents came from, and so many others came here to help rebuild the country. But also to help the government create, at the time, the National Health Service from the cradle to the grave, from the point of delivery. And it would have been impossible for the government to honour that promise without the sweat, tears, and toil of my grandparents and so many others from the Windrush generation. So I'm so proud of what they've done and what they've achieved. It's really important what they've done. But as a counsellor, one of the things that I was most surprised about was the Windrush scandal, and when that came to bear in 2018. And what I'm referring to is the hostile environment where people from places like the Caribbean, you know, their rights were being questioned, the legitimacy of them being in this country, a country that they were invited to, the country that they were told they could stay as long as they want for the rest of their lives, in honour and in thanks of the work that was done, that, you know, that they were treated in such an appalling way. So here in Kirklees, myself and my colleagues recognised the difficulty that people were facing. So we set up something called the Windrush Advocacy Group. And that was designed to help people who were facing these difficulties, the adverse situation that was happening at the time, and to give a voice to people who had lost their jobs, people who had lost their homes, and people who really had lost their dignity. Now, the reason why I'm talking about the Windrush scandal in particular is because a lot of people think it's not relevant anymore. It's happened. It's gone. Sorry, I've been told to bring it up. It's happened. It's gone. It's not in the news anymore. It's not important. Well, actually, it's still affecting people today. Last night around this time, I was speaking to a gentleman from Kirklees who was talking about how he was affected by the Windrush generation. He was talking about coming here and how, he was treated by his peers, how he was treated at school, and how it's impacted on his mental health. And we talked a lot about his experiences, but we also talked about what support that might be available for him. And I'm sure he's not alone. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who are experiencing similar things. Not everybody wants to come forward. Some people want to remain anonymous. Some people just don't want to talk about it. But it goes to show that it's not ended. It's still an issue and it's still relevant. A couple of weeks ago, I attended a woven festival. I don't know if some of you were at some of the events around your area. Now, the purpose of the Woven Festival, it's an annual celebration of the rich textile history of Huddersfield, of Kirklees. And it's in relation to, obviously, the mills. You look around you, you can see, the infrastructure of mills and the textile industry, and dating back hundreds of years. Many people from the Windrush generation, when they arrived here, worked in these mills and contributed greatly to the economic successes of the town. So it's when I think about events like Woven and some of the other things, that's what it brings back for me. That sort of pride that every year we celebrate these things, but we're also celebrating the Windrush generation and their contribution to these things. Also, when I think of the Windrush generation, I think of pride and creativity. A generation that had the temperament of not accepting no. At a time where there were no dogs, no Irish, no blacks were posted in various places. It didn't break their spirit. And what they were able to do, because of the resilience that they had, they did things like develop their own churches. We talked about, I went to church with Edwin. There's a number of churches in Huddersfield. They had to develop their own churches because the churches here would not allow people from the Windrush generation to worship there. They created their own social spaces, dances, shebeens. I'm sure I'm not alone. There's many people in here who've been to dances and shebeens at a time where people from the Windrush generation were not permitted to go into social events and enjoy because of who they were. And children who were classified as educationally subnormal. What the Windrush generation did, we had things like Saturday schools, Sunday school, supplementary schools. We were resilient and we didn't accept what was happening out there in the community. We created our own for our own. So I'm really, really proud of what we've achieved and the legacy that's been left behind. So I'm not going to talk too much, but I just want to say that I'd like to thank the Windrush generation for having the faith and the trust in God and themselves to embark on a journey into the unknown. None of them knew where they were coming and what was going to happen. I'm sure there weren't televisions, certainly not coloured televisions, about where they were coming. It was a leap of faith, and they took that leap of faith because not only did they want to support the mother country, but they also wanted to create something positive for themselves and for their families, a legacy to leave behind. So I'm really proud of what they've achieved. And I'd like to end with thanking our community leaders. People like Dr. Milton Brown, Edwin Baker, who's been instrumental in my life, Johnny Flowers, Natalie Pinnock-Hamilton, Denzel Nurse. There are so many people in this room. There are so many community leaders. And I like to call them Windrush warriors. That's what I like to call them. These Windrush warriors amplify the voices of the Windrush generation. They educate us, they push for positive change, and they keep the conversation going. Even the difficult ones that people don't want to have, they keep those conversations going. So let's have a round of applause, please, for our Windrush warriors. Okay. So I always usually like to end with a couple of quotes, my favourites that I tend to use all the time. And there's one that I use quite a lot, which is a Native American one, which goes like this. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. That means it's our responsibility to educate our children, to educate the community, to leave a legacy and future that we can be proud of. The other one I want to leave with is when an old person dies, it's like a library burns down. It's one that we hear a lot. We must continue to have these stories. We must continue to talk and celebrate days like Windrush Day and the Windrush generation so that others can learn and appreciate and recognise the hard work that the Windrush generation have left behind. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move over to our first guest speaker of the night, which is Alison Lowe. Okay, so Alison Lowe, first black Leeds City Councillor, serving from 1990 to 2019. She was chief exec of Touchstone, which was a mental health charity based in Leeds. In 2021, Alison was appointed as Deputy Mayor of West Yorkshire for Policing and Crime. Alison received an OBE in 2022, New Year's Honours for services to mental health and well-being. And in July 2022, Alison was awarded an honorary doctorate of law by the University of Leeds on the basis of Alison's personal commitment to speaking up for the marginalised and to promote the importance and open, frank conversations about mental health. Please put your hands together for Alison Lowe. Very much.
Hello everybody, thank you so much for asking me to come today. Just one little erratum. I wasn't the first black councillor, I was the first black woman councillor because Cedric Clark was the first black councillor, also a Catician. So I have to honour him and his achievement. So I think I've let the cat out of the bag that my daddy, a Windrush generation, mighty, that's what he is, that's what he was. Here he is on his wedding day to my mum back in 1961. And my dad came from St Kitts and Nevis, or St Christopher as it was when he came. I've got his original passport and all his paperwork. And he came here so that he would have a better life, but that his family would also have a better life. He always saw himself as British. He always saw the Queen as his Queen, and he always contributed, wanted his family to contribute, and would never allow any criticism of the monarchy or of the country while he was alive. His loyalty was 100%, and despite that, he faced such challenges. Racism was a regular feature. He was not allowed to work in the field that he had trained to in St Kitts. He was a builder, a plasterer, a craftsperson. He was able to build houses, but when he came here, he cleaned toilets, he swept garage forecourts, he couldn't get housing, he had to share a house with many other people who had also come from the Caribbean. And when he met and married my mum was thrown out by her family, and they were both homeless, made their homes originally in Chapeltown, as so many of the Windrush generation in Leeds did. And eventually they settled in a place called Seacroft, which is in East Leeds. And we were one of 3 black families, so we felt the difference. We felt the fact that we weren't in Chapeltown anymore. But even then, my dad was stoic, my dad worked hard, and my dad forged his place in that community, and he made sure that we served the community, that we achieved in that community, and we delivered for that community. And so even though there were challenges, there was also hope. And as a result of my dad's pioneering decision to come here to this country, just like many of the people in this room are the people themselves, that your fathers, mothers, grandparents, those people were pioneers. They came here to build a new life, to build a new Britain. And we are as entitled to be here as they were. But it's so important that we remember the journey that they all came on, the fact that it was hard. It's still hard, but it's not as hard for us as it was for them. And why not? Because they made sure that we have an easier ride than they do. Even when it feels hard and it feels that things are not changing, please always remember that they have made so many sacrifices so that our time here is easier. And so we have to make sacrifices so that the time for our children, our grandchildren is easier still. It is easy sometimes to sit there and think about all the things you don't have, all the things that are hurting, all the injustices in the world. But if our fathers, grandfathers, all our forebears who came here and made a life for us had have done that, we would not be here. So hold your head up high. Step in to all the challenges. Stand up to the bullies, to the racists, to the bigots. Stand up for those communities who are newly emerging now, who are taking that journey that our families took, our fathers, grandfathers, all the rest of it. Remember the hard times that our family had and make sure that those new migrant communities coming to this country have a better response from us, if nobody else. It's a wonderful occasion to celebrate all those people who came here to West Yorkshire. West Yorkshire is a diverse and amazing, vibrant, fabulous place, but it's only those things because of every constituent part that makes up this wonderful county. Every person makes this county great. Don't ever, ever believe that you're not valued and that you haven't made a special, unique contribution, because the minute you believe those people over there telling you that you're not valued, that you're not worth it, that you're not worthwhile, they win. We all collectively lose. So let's all collectively win. Let's remember those people who came before us, celebrate them, hold them in the highest of esteem, and most of all, thank them. Thank you.
Okay, so our next speaker we have is Councillor Liz Smage, who's our Mayor of Kirklees. So as I said, Councillor Smage is currently the Mayor. She was first elected to represent her ward in Birstall and Birkenshaw in 2004. She's a governor at the Birkenshaw Primary School and an active member of numerous groups across Birkenshaw, Birstall and East Brierley. Councillor Smage is also a trustee of the Birstall Community Centre. She is a member of the national chairman of the former Institute of Qualified Private Secretaries, and in her spare time has gained a degree in history, English literature and classical studies through Open University. Wow, that sounds really good. So I'd like to welcome up here the Mayor of Kirklees, Councillor Smage.
Just come unhooked. That's good timing. Never mind. Good evening. Good evening. It sounds a lot, doesn't it? 3 degrees, but you know. Yeah. I just had a few words tonight. I wanted to thank you for inviting me to be here and marking the contribution that the members of the Windrush generation have made. From music, sports, politics, community activism, faith and culture, they have left an indelible mark on the development of all our communities. Yeah, okay. And I'm so looking forward to hearing the videos for the wise words. I'm really looking forward to hearing those voices tonight. Our borough today benefits from its diverse identity. It benefits from the rich history and customs that have come from the many different cultures that have made Kirklees their home. It offers us all the chance to benefit from different experiences and different traditions. And one way of doing that is through this project, highlighting the experiences that must never be forgotten, providing educational resources which can be used to educate future generations so they too can hear those wise words, and help build stronger unity across all the different cultures in Kirklees. As the years go by, we are losing more and more of those who can tell the real stories and relay their own experiences. And it is important that these are not lost, that they are there for the future. And I wish all those responsible for preserving them well. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next person we have, oh, it's louder now. I don't know what he's done. I can hear myself. Okay, the next person we have joining us on the floor is MP Harpreet Uppal. So Harpreet, who has just come back from Parliament, is that right? I'm sure she'll tell us a little bit more about what she's been doing today, but today has been quite an important day in the history of the country. But I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let her talk about it. So Harpreet was born and raised in Fartown. She has deep roots in the community, which has shaped her passion for politics and social justice. From being a student on the student council at Fartown High School to her studying politics and international relations at Nottingham Trent University and Bradford University, she has always been driven by commitment to make a difference. Before becoming an MP, Harpreet worked closely with Debbie Abrahams, who's an MP in Oldham, and playing a key role in Andy Burnham's campaign for Mayor of Greater Manchester, and he's doing a fantastic job at the moment. Harpreet also served as a councillor in the Ashbrow ward with me, so I know Harpreet very well. We've worked very closely together. Harpreet, welcome to the floor.
Well, I hope you can hear me. Is this okay? Well, I think it's good evening now, so good evening, everyone. I have just got back from London, so I'm a bit of a hot mess at the moment, I have to say. It's very sticky down there, a bit too sticky for a northerner like me, but it's absolutely lovely to be here, and I wanted to make sure that I came here today as well, straight from the train. And as Amanda alluded, we don't normally sit in Parliament on a Friday, but we've been debating the assisted dying bill, and there'll be a range of views. I can see there will be a range of views on the bill. I voted in favour at third reading, and of course not everyone will agree with that, but it's a vote of conscience. And it now goes to the Lords, so there'll be further scrutiny of the bill as it goes to the Lords, but it's been quite a big day in terms of potentially what the laws of this country are. So. And also this week we had a Windrush debate in Parliament as well, as we come to celebrate Windrush Day on Sunday. So I was able to speak in Parliament on Monday night. It started quite late at 9:30, so there wasn't many of us left at that point. But I was able to talk about the contribution of the Windrush community and their descendants, and particularly from here in Huddersfield. And I spoke about Venge Street, I talked about the Deaton Carnival, so that is now laid in Parliament in Hansard as well, so I'll make sure that's shared with everyone, but it's important that we do so. So it's an absolute honour to be here today to mark the launch of Windrush Wise Words. And I'm absolutely thrilled that this powerful documentary series has been created in Huddersfield by the incredible Kirklees Local TV, and I can see some colleagues here. Hello, how are you? You're doing hot. We're all hot, absolutely. And I know some of this was supported by a grant from the government through the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, which is absolutely fantastic to see as well. And I want to start by thanking KLTV for their excellent work, but specifically for this remarkable project, because it captures the stories of 16 Caribbean descendants, their experiences, their reflections of life in Britain, have now been preserved for future generations, and it's really important that we keep those oral stories and that oral history as well. This evening celebration, I don't know if we've shown the clips already, but they're coming, which is fantastic, and I can see some of the people up front. So the wonderful Johnny Flowers, owner of Ashbrow Garage. I know, having lived in Fartown, is an important garage, important part of my life, something that I've walked past numerous times. So, I want to thank you for everything that you've done for Huddersfield, Johnny. And it's really important that we're recognising you in this documentary as well. And Henderson Gill as well, a professional rugby league player. I'm very passionate about rugby league. And you are a legend, Henderson. And I know you were capped for Great Britain for 15 times as well. So that is not an easy thing to do. Particularly as Great Britain doesn't play that often either. And we've got the Great British Lions test coming back, haven't we, as well. So absolutely superb. So thank you for everything that you've done, the legacy for rugby league as well, really, really important. And of course, Dr. Helen Wells. Is Helen here? Helen, how are you? Absolutely brilliant. And I know you're a trauma counsellor. And you left school perhaps not with everything that you wanted to leave school with. Yeah, without reading or writing. And you went on to achieve a degree, a master's and a PhD. So let's give her a round of applause. So yeah, thank you, Helen. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Wells, and it's really important that the three of you took part in this project, and I thank you, and I can't wait to see the full footage, which I think will be airing on Sunday. So please get on KLTV on Sunday, everyone. It'll be absolutely brilliant, and it's a powerful reminder of the resilience and contribution that you've made to our community, so thank you very much. And of course, these stories don't just belong to the past, they continue to be in our present, and they must be part of our future. Huddersfield is a rich and diverse place, and we know how deeply the Windrush generation and their descendants have shaped the fabric of our town. And that comes from working in our hospitals, buses, textile mills, factories, rugby league, to our social networks, businesses, cultural institutions, the premier garage in Huddersfield, of course. And your contributions will help define what our town stands for. So please give yourself a round of applause, because you're all a part of the history of our town. And what I would say is that families didn't just settle here, they created a home and they created a legacy, which is really important for Huddersfield as well. And one of the things I talked about in Parliament was about Venn Street, because I know you've got something here about sound systems, culture as well, and the reggae scene. And we know Venn Street was actually really important for the whole of the UK's reggae scene, right? And it showcased some pretty big legends, Gregory Isaacs, Desmond Decker, Jimmy Cliff, I think, also performed in Huddersfield. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I was reading a Guardian piece on this, telling the history of Huddersfield in the UK's reggae scene, and they said while some artists would have gone to London and Birmingham, more often than not, they always came to Huddersfield, so that is a very, very important part of our history. Maxley Priest, did you say? That's a new one, I didn't know that one. So I'll have to look him up. So very, very important to our heritage and culture. Have you got some as well?
Yeah, Eka Marks, Barrington Louisa Marks.
Well, there you go. Very, very important. Yeah, Henderson's given a clap to that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
My favourite singer when I was a kid was
Millicent Smalls. Yeah.
My favourite song of all time.
Okay.
I've got no feet, I'll get up and dance to that.
Oh,
My mum's just told me he was in Huddersfield.
yeah. Oh, she came to Huddersfield as well? Well, there you go. There you go. So it tells you something that's very, very important in terms of not just Huddersfield, but the whole of the UK, the importance that reggae scene played in the whole of the UK. And we should be very proud of that. Very, very proud. And of course, I have to mention the Deaton Carnival. Absolutely love the Deaton Carnival, and obviously Huddersfield Carnival as well. And I know next year Deaton will be celebrating their 25th anniversary. We need to find a location, of course, so we're working hard on that. So we'll be doing that. Oh, Howard. Well done, Howard. Let's give Howard a round of applause. Lovely to see you, Howard. I mentioned Deaton Carnival in Parliament, Howard, so it's on Hansard, so it's in there. But while we celebrate the great heritage here in Huddersfield, we must also confront the injustices that still linger. So the treatment of the Windrush generation by successive governments was a profound wrong, one that caused lasting harm. I've raised in Parliament the case of a constituent who struggled to access the Windrush compensation scheme, and obviously we had the Windrush scandal with people being able to access immigration, which people had come here rightly, they were invited here, but obviously the paperwork wasn't recorded correctly, and it's been a massive scandal, and we have to do more to deal with it. Like many, the constituent that I was supporting, he didn't have access to support or legal aid, and the process was complicated, confusing, and deeply frustrating. And sadly, his experience is not unique. Whilst my team were able to provide him with support to submit his application, across the country, many eligible individuals still do not know that they can apply, and others are deterred by the scheme's complexity. And I know, Amanda, you've been doing some work on this, so thank you for everything that you've been doing on this. And I know a number of members of the community have been working on this also. We are making some change at the moment, the Labour government, so we have allocated 1.5 million to support advocacy groups and ensure local organisations are able to support those navigating the system and access the justice that they deserve. And you may have seen that this week, the government has appointed the Windrush Commissioner, Reverend Clive Foster, and he will play a key part in improving the Windrush compensation scheme. And he's an independent commissioner. He's been very clear that he will act without fear or favour, and he will hold us to account. It's important that we have him in place. And as I say, we must go further, and part of that is embedding deep cultural change in the Home Office so that this injustice is never repeated again. It was an absolute scandal, an absolute shame for people who helped build this country to be attacked like that, so that must not happen again. So the Windrush Wise Words is more than a documentary. It's a reminder of what happens when we listen and what the risks are when we don't. The Windrush generation did not just arrive in Britain, they helped to shape it. They built our NHS, they grew our economy, and when I say they, I'm talking about a number of people in this room right now, and you should be proud of that and make sure that you know that we know that you helped to build this country, so please remember that. Unfortunately, what we did see, though, that many of the community endured hardship and racism, yet many stood with dignity and determination. So tonight we celebrate your words, your memories, and your power. And let us also now renew our commitment to justice, fairness, and action. Let's ensure the stories captured in Windrush Wise Words are not just remembered, but used to drive lasting change. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me organise myself. And I think I'd like to thank Harpreet for the wonderful work that she's doing in Parliament. It's great that we've got her here today letting us know what she's doing. You know, I'm not naming names, but some MPs, you know, they haven't necessarily been as close to our community as we would have liked them to have been. And Harpreet is definitely someone who's an advocate for the black community and the Windrush generation. What Harpreet was talking about there, about speaking in Parliament, I saw it before I came here today, and I shared it on Facebook straight away, because I want everybody to know how hard she's working for us in Parliament. And as she said, there are some things there that she's mentioned that will go down in history forever. You know, Windrush, you know, Venn Street, you know, you even talked about the Grenadian and the Carriacou community. I was watching the video today, so it's amazing that people got to see it, people get to hear about it, and it's gone down in history. All communities. So fantastic. Okay, so moving on, we've got a gentleman here called Cormac Kelly, and he's representing the National Education Union. He's working in partnership with KLTV in the production of educational resources, which accompany what's happening today, which is the Windrush Wise Words Celebration. It's a real tongue twister. It really is. But it does sound really good. So I'm going to say it again, the Windrush Wise Words Celebration. There we go.
Right. Colleagues, first of all, thank you for inviting me along here. You were going to get Louise Lewis. I don't know if Many of you know Louise. Louise is an increasingly important member of the National Education Union. She teaches in Huddersfield. Her father was a member of the Windrush generation, and unfortunately she's not able to come today because she's been called to chair some meetings in Birmingham and London to do with the union. But she's a very, along with our union branch, a very strong advocate and supporter for the work which is being done here. So what you're going to get is a few words from me, and then you're going to get most of Louise's speech, what she would have said, but with some bits I'm going to throw in as well. And I'm going to start with one or two bits. The two things have happened to me since I came here tonight. One I expected and one I didn't expect. What I certainly didn't expect was to be sat next to this man here, Henderson Gill. I mean, it's just wow, you know, it's amazing. It really is. You know, this town's very proud of you. You really are an absolute credit. What I did expect, because it happens to me so often, I taught for 37, 38 years in schools in Huddersfield, mainly in Sallandine Nook. And I always bump into people who say, I know you, you know, you taught me, or you were at school, weren't you? And, of course, it happened to me. Marcus over there, thank you, he reminded me that I was around at school at the time he was there. I want just one other comment before I pass on the comments of Louise. A long time ago, decades ago, I was given a job at the school to encourage anti-racist education and multiculturalism, and that was the sort of thing that was happening. And it meant challenging teachers, it meant changing the curriculum, it meant really getting the school to attempt, a very long job, by the way, and education, you know, we've not got there yet, of course, by no means, to become more inclusive and so on. So there I was, quite young, and I'm looking around for allies, and I got an ally, and there's the man himself, Milton, would come in, and he talked to me, and he talked to other members of staff, and I never really had a chance to say thank you very much. Yeah, you did a great job, thanks a lot, yeah, I appreciate you. Right, well, as I say, this is what Louise would have said to you, and just get rid of the emojis, which keep coming up. Right. She says, it's an honour to stand here today at the launch of the Windrush Wise Words Project. This is more than a collection of films. It's an act of remembrance, of pride, and of education for our whole community here in Huddersfield and in the country beyond. The Windrush generation did not just arrive to help rebuild Britain. They helped build our communities, our schools, our National Health Service, buses, factories, and so on. And they faced tremendous hostility. They faced a lot of abuse. They faced racism and hardship, but they faced that with courage. And their stories hold important and powerful lessons about resilience, belonging, and justice. And I think, and I used to teach history, it is so important that we have a record of what people went through, their experiences, their lives, and so on, so that future generations can look at this not just purely as some dusty old document or dusty old film from the past, but something we can learn from it in the future. I've always thought that was a very important aspect of history. So they deserve to be heard, shared, and woven into the daily fabric of our lives. So my union, the National Education Union, we have a vital role to play to make that happen. We've got 500,000 members in schools. It's the largest education union in Europe. Tens of thousands of black members. 75% of teachers are women. So it has tremendous influence. This influence, this size, brings responsibilities. It brings power as well to ensure that the anti-racist work continues and reaches every child and every staff room across the country. We have done a number of various activities and projects. For example, our Thinking Across the Box report. Our anti-racism charter challenges us to move forward from beyond the tick box anti-racist mentality and to embed true anti-racism in every lesson, every policy, every conversation and every aspect of school life. The Windrush Wide Words project shows exactly what that looks like when communities and schools work hand in hand. But it can't just stop here in Huddersfield. It must go national. But it is a model for what can be done nationally. That's why, as a union, we are pushing to commit to featuring the project in our national magazine, Educate, which goes to every member and goes beyond the union itself, to embed the work in our anti-racism training, giving practical examples, up-to-date examples, not for some book or report that came out 10 years ago, of how to decolonise the curriculum and to honour local voices. Ensuring this kind of work happens in every town and every city in the UK. Promoting it through our national equality councils and organising forums. So our reps and our officers, all the people associated with our union, can champion similar work in their communities. And creating a direct link to our NEU website so that every member can access these films, this important record, teaching ideas, teaching the background materials at the same time. And critically continuing and strengthening our work with Kirklees Local TV, whose partnership has been vital in recording and amplifying these stories authentically. By supporting this collaboration long term, we can show how unions, local media and communities can work together to bring great lasting change. But it's something we've got to constantly work at. The work is still carrying on. This is the power of our union in action. We don't just speak warm words about change. We attempt to organise, we attempt to educate, and attempt to stand up for justice in every classroom for every generation. Inside the National Education Union, members are themselves discussing this issue and are constantly being asked and challenged to ensure that anti-racism work continues inside schools, so there's no complacency. Louise says, to those people who have shared, the older people who shared their words with us, thank you for your courage. Thank you for your wisdom. To Kirklees Local TV, thank you for capturing these stories so beautifully. And to every member here today, let's honour this legacy by making sure these voices echo through our lessons, through our assemblies, through our everyday interaction with children, with pupils, our everyday conversations. That it's not just a kind of something we do on Black History Month, but it's happening every day of every week of every year. Today we can keep thinking beyond the box and keep building the anti-racism schools our communities deserve and must be, from my union's point of view, a key objective. So on behalf of Louise and myself, thank you very much for inviting us. I really appreciate it. We both appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, last but not least, Dr. Milton Brown. Inviting Dr. Milton Brown to come up here to the stage, a good friend of mine and a good colleague. I've watched Milton's success grow and grow over the years and the difference he's made in Kirklees, so thank you for that, Milton. So Dr. Milton Brown then. So Dr. Milton Brown is the CEO and founder of Kirklees Local TV, a media platform established in March 2011, dedicated to documenting local news, promote civic activism, and foster research and dialogue on historical events, contemporary social issues, and cultural matters impacting Huddersfield and West Yorkshire. Dr. Brown holds a PhD in history and philosophy from the University of Huddersfield, where his research focused on the experiences of African Caribbean people navigating race and constructing identity in the post-war Britain. Dr. Brown is also an alumni of the United Nations Programme for People of African Descent. Today, Dr. Brown leads the Windrush Legacy portfolio for KLTV and will share some words about the Windrush Wise Words and the event today. I said it without stumbling. Tongue twister.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what can I say about wise words? When I look at wise words, there's Dr. Helen Wells, Henderson Gill, and Mr. Flowers. Couple of quick stories. Henderson, if everybody knows Henderson, Henderson's a warrior. Has been a warrior since day one. And me and Henderson used to fight, and I mean literally fight. Every football match, Henderson wanted to be number one, I wanted to be number one, and we both wasn't given a quota. Yeah, that's correct. Till our fathers got involved. Henderson's dad knew my dad. Henderson's dad said, Henderson, Rennie is a bad man. That's my father. And my dad said, Casper, Henderson's dad, is a bad man. And we don't want no trouble. And I can tell you straight, we've never had a crossword since then. That's going back, what, when we were about 11 years of age? Yeah. Mr. Flowers, my father was a real fighter. I've seen him fight police, fight the Teddy Boys. Ask my brother over there. We ran down a racist one day and he trapped him and he told me and my brother to start beating him up while he held him. And we were frightened and my dad said, lick him. And we had to do it, yeah. And that guy never ran with us again. All right, okay. And that racist never messed with us again, such as was my father. But he came home one night fuming. He'd think he'd been bushwhacked by a couple of racists. And that night he went down in the cellar and he was melting this silver thing. Right, he was melting this silver thing. He was making a knuckle duster. Remember? And he was ready to go out there and seek war again. And there was one person who talked him down, Mr. Flowers. Yeah. I'll never forget that. And he always keeps reminding me, remember when we talked on your father? But yeah, I want to thank that. And as for Helen, you've heard her story. I'm always inspired by Helen. And if you're anybody who tunes into Windrush the years after, a community legacy on film, Helen is the voice of what we had as 1960s youth born, bred, and raised in this country. Helen Wells truly told our story. So thank you for that, Helen, as well. Yeah, can we give a round of applause? All three. So we have, since 2010, we have at least 500 videos or blogs, probably about 10,000 blogs about the African descent community here in Kirklees. And from that, you know, the Windrush Legacy, the Windrush Community Legacy on Film, we interviewed about 90 people. And believe me, only 30 could probably get on there. So what we're going to do with all those videos, what we're going to do with them. And the 30 that got on there was on for 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes. So what we did was to produce a biography, put it on a CD, and hand them back to those people who gave us their story so we can share with you. There's a few of them who have passed away already, and their grandchildren have come to us and said, have you got the video of my grandma or my dad? Or even Louise's dad, Chicken. Everybody remember Chicken? God rest his soul. Even Louise's dad gave us an hour and a half, and he will be part of the Wise Words. So what we decided to do was to put them all together, create the biography, the full hour. stitch it all together, put it on a DVD that you can give it to your children's children. And we are going to take half an hour of the film, and you're going to see a clip of some of it that we are going to put on Kirklees Local TV. So not all of your biography will be on there, because I do think certain things are private, yeah? Okay? Though we're not that kind of private, Debbie, right? All right? No, we believe that certain things should never be said only to the family, but we've put together at least half an hour, 40 minutes that can be shared on Kirklees Local TV, and that will be shared on Sunday, 22nd of June, which is Windrush Day. So it's probably going to be out about 12 o'clock. Yeah, so please look out for them. And we're also launching a magazine. It's our 4th magazine called As One. It's a magazine where we're looking at the profiles of people in Huddersfield, and we're raising the profiles of them and celebrating our community. So I'm just going to touch on some of those. If you're not subscribed to Kirklees Local TV, please do, because you will get all the Windrush the years after, a community legacy on film. Digging deep, we've done something on black miners. Yes, black miners in West Yorkshire, going down the pit. And if you ever heard what they went through, anyway, I'll move on very quickly. We've got Raw Being, Sister Louise Mohammed, who did something on Caribbean food, raw living food. I'm just giving you a few African Caribbean children in education through the years. If you understood what we went through, especially the 1960s youth, you'd never believe it. Did you know that the Huddersfield Corporation in 1964, Town Hall Minutes said, because the teachers were complaining, we want talking proper, we want listening proper, so they complained, we can't, they asked, what are we going to do with these retarded children? That's in the minutes. Over here, I've been reading here as well. It says here, where is it, 1991. Oh yeah, Kirklees Calderdale Skills Audit identifies 56.7% of black minority ethnic population have no qualifications and less than 1% have a degree. That's just 1971. And look how far, 1991, sorry, yeah, sorry, not my glasses, 1991. My apologies. So look how far we've come. Yeah, first woman leads city councillor. Yep, and Edwin, where's my brethren? Edwin, you forgot to mention that Amanda is our only black councillor, female. So can we give Amanda a round of applause? Where's she? Come take a bow, sis. Come. Yep, Amanda, well done, darling, well done. Amanda broke the seal, and we're hoping many more will follow after Amanda. Thanks, Amanda. And then we have the Windrush exhibition, Windrush Day, the legacy of young people's view. 2012, what was that? There's somebody who should know it. 2012 was a very special day in this town. Somebody championed St. Kitts, and I'm championing Jamaica's independence, 50 years, which Mr. Flowers and his team put on a massive Greenhead Park celebration, yeah? And we did a video on what young people felt about Jamaica. Empire Windrush stop motion. We had some plasticine folks come in and work with our youngsters at the time, and they pulled all that together. Keeping the vibe alive, the legacy of the carnival. We know Howard's done an amazing job in Deaton, correct? Yeah, can we give him a round of applause for that, because it's not been easy. And once again, Howard, for me, is our Malcolm X of Huddersfield, right? He tells it how it is, and I love him for that. And then me and the rest of us go in there and try and cool down the council and say, work with us. But respect you, Howard, keep pushing. Deaton Carnival, exploring history at the Antilles Club Credit Union. Yep, it's all on Kirklees Local TV. So nobody, I guess what I'm saying, nobody here and our children's children should ever worry about our history is going to be lost. So I would say approximately 500 videos on there now and everything else. We celebrate black agency. We officiate black people and validate black people with our authentic stories. That's what we do. So please, subscribe. And any one of you who want to learn about podcasting, interviewing, and all those skills, come. We want to develop the next generation of journalists the next generation of podcasters, the next generation of media people celebrating our history. So, without further ado, the next wise words will be Howard Belafonte, a.k.a. Daddy Lee, right? Give him a round of applause, yep, please, yep. Louise Mohammed will be the one on there for the next wise words, probably towards the end of July, and Peter Rowe, if anybody knows Peter Rowe, a.k.a. Fisher. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody again, our distinguished guests, family, friends, and new friends. Thank you. I'm so impressed that everybody always comes out. And it's not a dance, it's not a christening, no drink here, and the place ram. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you to all the incredible speakers for your powerful contributions that you've made here. I've really appreciated what's been said. And, you know, let's keep talking, let's keep sharing stories, let's keep supporting each other. So now's the bit that everybody's been waiting for, where we're going to be screening the Windrush Wise Words documentary trailer.
The Windrush generation denotes the people who emigrated from the Caribbean to Britain between the arrival of HMT Empire Windrush on the 22nd of June 1948 and the Immigration Act of 1971. They arrived as citizens of the Empire, answering the call to help rebuild the mother country. Yet each generation would discover a different England than the one they imagined. The early arrivals spoke of optimism and duty. Their children knew a land of cold shoulders and no blacks, no dogs, no Irish signs. But threaded through every story was the same truth. This was a journey met with discrimination and yet faced with unshakable resilience.
I had a girlfriend who was a teacher at the time, and she decided to come to England to work as a teacher. Not as a teacher, she came to do nursing. And I had other girlfriends, but I loved her so much. And when she was gone, I couldn't stay there anymore. I decided to come to England.
My mum and my dad came to this country in '60.
My parents came here, I believe my dad came round about 1958, it would have been, 1958, round about that time, which was regarded as the Windrush generation.
I had a brother who came on the plane that she came on to England, and he was living in Huddersfield. But Alda, my girlfriend then, was living in Poole in Dorset. So I came to Huddersfield expecting or thinking that, oh, Dorset is near, I could just pop down at weekend and see her.
So my dad came first, and then he sent for my mum.
He left his wife and my eldest sister at the time back in Barbados to come here.
What they found wasn't what they were promised. Not a welcome, not opportunities, definitely not the England sold to them across the ocean. The streets weren't paved with gold. They were lined with no vacancies, turned backs. But disappointment wasn't an option. Survival was.
And I think what my mum and dad expected, and a lot of black people that came to this country in the 60s, because we were still classed as a British colony, they believed that they were going to come over here and they were going to be treated well.
When he came here at that time, you know, to get in properties and things like that, you couldn't get them.
Because I'm from Montego Bay, I think all England was something like Montego Bay, with a town. I didn't realize it was such a country town.
You know, so there was other people that had came before him on the Windrush, right? And what the West Indian people used to do, right? Certain ones would have a house, and once you came over, they'd put you up until you could get your own premises and things like that, and that's what they did.
So I was really disappointed when I came, but I wasn't going to make that a problem to me. I had to live with what I have, and I did do.
They believed they were going to come over here and get jobs. They believed they were going to come over here and be actually welcomed in this country, and they wasn't.
The constant hostility they faced each day left many young souls adrift, questioning where they truly belonged, even who they were. For those of the Windrush generation, the sting of exclusion cut deep, a harsh reminder that acceptance was never guaranteed. Johnny recalls one particular incident on a trip to France.
We went to France on a trip to France, and they treated us really, really bad. They locked us all, the black people, or the Jamaicans, in a little office. All the English people went through, and they were seen through very quickly. For me, and the rest of the Jamaicans who were on the trip, we were in the office for ages. And I thought it was only because we were not British, right? They kept us like that. So I decided to get a British passport, and I did so as soon as I came back.
Well, in normal circumstances, right, because my parents resided here, I would have to say British, and that's on the period. But the fact is, if I chose, I had the choice. I could be a Barbadian national if I wanted, because that's what my heritage has given to me.
My early childhood, not knowing where I was in Britain, like I'd get told, go back to where you come from, you don't belong over here. I was told that at school, I was told that by everybody. So what was reinforced in my head was, where do I really belong?
Communities were built to survive hardship, tight-knit, resilient, a shelter against the storm. But over time, those bonds began to fade. The unity that once held them together now felt scattered, fragile, like echoes of a song that no longer played the same way.
I was supported by Septimus Moody, Clifford Harriott, Rennie Brown, and many, many more. And that's how we used to cook up there, and they played dance. Really a good place to be, especially in summer. And on a Sunday, it was like a massive garage. There would be about 10, 15 cars parked up. Not worked on, they just come to talk.
As far as I'm concerned, as communities, as a community, we're not together. We are communities. We are not a community. We are communities, because we're all pocketed all over the place.
You know, I see families, they're not exactly as close as what I felt when I grew up, you know, because my family was really close, you know, and people I knew, their families were close.
This was more than a garage. It was a meeting point for the West Indians.
We need to be one voice, right, so that we can come together and make our communities a better place to live in.
And it's a bit different now, you know, there's less opportunities available for them, even though we've moved on in time.
A key part of the communities they built was music, but not just the sound, but solidarity. In the clubs and the crowded dance floors, rhythm became resistance. For those told they didn't belong, here was a place where the bass line knew their name.
Vent Street at that time was the main club, and it was a big thing for the town because we had artists coming into the town as well.
And then Vent Street came along and blues came along. And I think back in the 70s and the 80s, right, it helped us a lot. It gave us solidarity.
Women didn't go to the music places. They did go to parties, but they didn't go to music as much. The men did, and the men find it really empowering to go to the reggae and the dance.
And you know, like when I was saying earlier, I didn't feel part of my community. I did when I was in blues.
Vent Street wasn't just a nightclub. It was a meeting point for all folks from all areas that came into the town. You know, we had a rapport with people from out of town. Huddersfield was always like the central place. People wanted to come to Vent Street because it was so famous. It was a vital part of the history of Huddersfield regarding West Indian people.
Through age and experience came wisdom. Lessons that seemed like riddles in youth, but revealed their truth with time. The words of elders, once puzzling, now echo with clarity, guiding the way forward.
If there's anything that I feel proud about, it's a legacy that I've left. And Robert has done exceedingly well. It is now truly a family business. And truly is a legacy because now my grandchildren are here and they are graduates. The fact that they are graduates prove that their garage is in good hands.
One of the things that my mum always used to say to me, right, don't worry, time will tell.
The one that stands up in my mind all the time. My mother used to always tell me, and I could always say that. And basically, she's telling me, if you think you're too smart, the more the monkey climb the tree, the more you expose the arse.
And I never understood that when I was younger. What's she on about? Time will tell. And my mum's right. Time does tell.
And that's the one, you know, explain it. It tells you, you know, so you carry on, you keep exposing yourself.
And time tells you where you want to be in your life and how you're going to move on and what you're going to do with that. Because from where I was as a young girl to where I am now, I would never have believed that I would be in this place. And that is the truth.
You know, and that's the riddles we were taught to in, and you had to work them out. And, you know, as you got older, you think, wow, I know what that means. You know, and, you know, telling me thinking I'm too smart for my own good and things like that, you know, and that was it. You know, sometimes, you know, if you get half, laugh, you know, things like that, you know, and you've just had to work them out yourself, you know. But as you get older, all those things come back to haunt you because you always remember them.
I reflect on the things that's happened over the years and what has brought me here. The person who is most important to me, the person who is the driving force behind me and Ashborough Garage is my wife, Alda. She has been the savior, the redeemer. She's been the person who has really puts the icing on the cake. Without her, I don't think there could have been an Ashborough Garage. So I just want to say thank you so much, Alda. And we've been here for over 60 years together, and I hope we will have a few more years.
Never ever believed that I would have the courage and the strength and get rid of all that pain and that hurt and that anger to be able to sit here and say that pain I went through from born to now has brought me round to a beautiful place where I'm with beautiful people, and I've got beautiful people in my life, and I'm doing good things, and I'm loving life. I never thought I'd be there because when I was younger, it was just so hard to even think that I could be here because I never knew what what the world had for me out there. All I knew at the time is that I was scared and that I didn't know where life was going to take me.
Windrush Wise Words, our first three protagonists, Dr. Helen Wells, Henderson Gill, and Mr. Johnny Flowers. One more round of applause, please. You can see, like we said, the full version of each of their videos from Sunday on the KLTV website. Because one of our distinguished guests, Mr. Henderson Gill, has yet another engagement in Bradford, we're going to present them with their full DVDs right now. I'm going to ask the Deputy Mayor of West Yorkshire to present each of them with their DVDs. So first of all, because Henderson has to go, next, we'll have Dr. Helen Wells. And last but not least, Mr. Johnny Flowers. Now, we have a special gift to give to the power behind the throne. You know the saying that behind every... But Johnny would be the first to acknowledge that he would have never achieved anything if it wasn't for his wonderful wife, Alda Flowers. And so, in keeping with your name, we'd like to present you with some flowers because you are a team.
Okay, we're coming to the end now. What a fantastic video. What a fantastic snapshot, a synopsis of what's yet to come on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to it, and I can tell by nodding heads in the room that we're looking forward to seeing the rest of it. That was just a nice little taster. But has anybody got any questions? So any questions for Helen? Anyone got any questions, any comments that you want to make? She's amazing. She's definitely amazing. Oh, one over there.
Thanks, Amanda. These two, Johnny, Alda, they're my parents, so I'm Joanne. So I'm a product of these two. My mum's head is in her hands already. But I'd just like to ask you, what do you think is different about you that's made your journey so magical?
Yeah, I've got it.
My mum, you don't get women like them anymore. And she told me, she always said to me, don't ever hold anger in your heart because it only affects you, it doesn't affect anybody else. I left school, I could not read, I could not write. And I went on to do great things. Why? Because of my mum. She laid the groundwork for me and my siblings. She made me the person I am today. And I will walk with that queen on my head forever and a day. And one thing she always told me, if you love life, it will always love you back.
More wise words. Oh, down there.
Yeah, that's okay. Anybody else with?
The lady down there in the lovely dress.
Oh, Vicky.
Colourful dress.
Hi, Vicky. You all right?
Hello, everybody. I feel very honoured to be here today because Ellen invited me specially when I bumped into her just by one of those off-chance things that happen when you're out about socialising. So it was really lovely that she did. So just to say that I'm a long-time friend of Helen's way back in the 70s. Ooh. We grew up together as teenagers, yes. In the days when you had to find some sort of recreation, and it was either Birkby Civic, and if you didn't go to Birkby Civic, you walked all the way from Birkby to Lockwood Youth Club, which we did. And we had we've got some lovely memories, haven't we, Helen? Happy times as youngsters, but that was coming together and feeling strong about coming together, feeling part of a unit because you found another black family. Didn't matter where it was, you made your way to it to find your own identity and to feel welcomed and to feel settled in that community. And Helen did that for me and my family. God bless you, Mum, Queen, yeah. So thanks for inviting us, myself and Sid. And we were only here a couple of days ago. Well, last week, was it? And it's been a lovely experience. And congratulations on your PhD, Dr. Helen Wells.
Thank you very much. Gosh, ladies, you're going to have us in tears. Goodness me. Okay, moving on. Johnny, any questions for Johnny? Anyone want to have any questions or any comments after watching the video? Oh.
Oh, no, Joanne's already written. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be long, don't worry. Okay, Dad, I knew you loved my mum. 4,000 miles, is it? Or is it 2,000 miles to Jamaica? Does anybody know? Like, call it 4,000. 4,000 miles to create a legacy is pretty good. He is the last one left in the family. He was one of 11 siblings. He's the only one left. So can we all treasure him from now till when he has gone to meet someone else? Thank you, Dad.
Fantastic. Helen?
When you first came over here, and it wasn't what you expected, how did you do it? How did you do it?
So, you've heard of the thing before. I didn't come for work. I came because of a woman who I loved. And that was my main reason. I came here I said I would come for 5 years and would go back and start a family. And when I came and saw it was so hard, I was better off in Jamaica than before I came than what it was when I came here. But I decided I couldn't go back with feeling so disappointed. I didn't want to be a failure. And I worked. I just continued working. And I thought also what I need to do was to leave a legacy for the people who comes after me and the people who are around me. And that's what I have tried to do. So if anybody thinks I've done anything worthwhile, it was all because I wanted to leave a legacy. Thank you.
Anyone else? Come.
Johnny's is a love story, a completely different angle. All you need is love. I feel a song coming on, but I'm not going to. Any questions for Alison? The fantastic Alison Lowe's, come all the way from Leeds.
I live in Birstall.
She lives in Birstall. Any questions for Alison?
Hi, Alison. Something you shared about your mum and dad really resonated with me when you said that your mum was put out. I have that experience. My mum was kind of estranged from, well, especially my maternal grandfather when she got with a black man. I have no memory of my grandfather till I was about 6 years old. So it seems like it may have been a common occurrence. My mother was from South Yorkshire, from Barnsley. And she met my dad. He was gigging, he played a guitar in a band, did one of the clubs over there. So I was really quite touched by that because it's very much, my own mother's story. So it seemed like everything turned out right in the end. So, so just thank you for sharing that. Seems like a lot of us, especially of us of mixed heritage, have got quite a common history and story and experience. So it'd be really nice to explore that with KLTV, maybe as the next project. I feel another project coming on. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, thank you so much for that. My mum was Irish heritage, and her sayings were, when I used to go in crying because they'd used the N-word once again, you get out there and batter them as I'll batter you. So I were born fighting and I'll go out that way. And that's because of my mother. My dad used to say, pie asses, that's all he ever said when anyone was giving him any hassle. I did get to meet my granddad and my nana because when I was about 7, 8, they reconciled. And in the end, my dad was beloved of my nana and granddad. And my granddad always said he was his best son-in-law. So ignorance and fear prevented them knowing my dad longer and knowing us longer. But when they, decided to offer that olive branch, we all came together. And I loved my nana and granddad and often stayed with them. So I'm really glad that happened.
What a fantastic story.
There's
Thank
Michelle
you for sharing
Brown
with
here
that.
who would like to
Thank
ask
you
a
for sharing
question.
that with us, Alison.
Yeah, is that working? This question is, as you can tell from my accent, I'm not from around here, but it doesn't matter. We all had stories to tell. My mum said that when she first came to England, the thing she found the strangest was snow and the cold. And I know this is a really light-hearted question, but I thought it was something to ask. What was the strangest thing that you didn't expect to see? The other thing she said was when she saw all the terraced houses, she thought they were factories and she didn't understand white people could be poor. So are there any other stories like that you guys have of a memory where you think, we did not expect this of the other people that were there?
I think this is probably one for Mr. Flowers.
Yeah.
So the question is, was there anything that you didn't expect to see when you came to the UK? Anything unusual?
Not really. All I wanted to see was the woman who I loved. Yeah. She keeps telling me, it's over 61 years now, coming up to 62, since we've been together here in England. And she keeps telling me I don't appreciate her. But I want to say tonight, I've said it in video, I've said it in pictures, I've said it to everybody to know that I love this woman. I loved her dearly, and she brought me here. She was the reason why I'm here. I know people think that when you come from Jamaica, you come from a mother. You're nobody, you have nothing. That wasn't my case. We had a lot of land. I was the last of the family. Three sons of us, and my dad wanted me to be a farmer, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the farming. I didn't like to wake up in the morning and go look after the cows, and in the evening when I get out of the pen to go look after them and to cut the sugar cane. I didn't like that. So I went to go to technical school, and I left and went to do a mechanic without them knowing that I was there. And my dad, when he found out, I think it's a month after I'd gone to this place, every morning I'm dressing in my uniform, going to college, but I changed them halfway and go to the garage. And when he found out that's what I was doing, he called me, he never bothered me much, but he said, look, every family have a black sheep, and you're it. And I think about it, and I said, I won't ever be that black sheep. And I think most of the family knows me. Like here in Huddersfield, everybody knows Johnny Flowers. The name, they don't know him, they know the name. But at least I can say I have not been that black sheep. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. So the romantic black sheep then? Oh, Mrs. Flowers.
I feel what some compelled to say a few words. Because this is about the Windrush generation. And there were so many obstacles in our way, or in our parents' way when they came here. And I feel I was in that class of being abused, accused, and whatever else. And I'll just give you a small example of something that happens. Personally, this happened to me. When we decided to purchase a house, The house was on Central Avenue. I went to view the house, and eventually, when the lady decided to sell me the house, another English lady picked up a petition for her not to sell a black person this house. But guess what? She did me a favor. Because if I was going to steal money to buy the house, I was going to buy the house. If I'm to borrow it to buy the house, I'm buying the house. I was more determined to buy this house because of what she did. We had problems within the house because there was no building society giving a mortgage at that time. Completely none. But we had an endowment policy. And we contacted the policyholder who decided they will give us the money to purchase the house on our endowment policy. But because there was no building society giving the mortgage in those days, they put us on a rota, which we did not know. So if you don't use that money, which is allocated to you in 6 months, it goes to the next person on the rota. So by the time my agent came around from holiday for us to get the money to buy the house, our money had gone to the next person on the rota, or 6 months was up. And I thought, well, no, just leave it. And I said, no. My determination is that lady who's petitioned for this other English lady not to sell us a house, she's going to be a loser, comes what may. And I thought about it, and when the agent came to see us and told us that we had no money to purchase the house, I said to him, what do you mean? And he said, don't worry. I'll come back when your husband is here. And when he came back, he said, you know what? I went to see a friend of mine who is the manager of a building society, because you two is a nice couple to me, to see if you could give us a mortgage. And he said, no, I can't do that. They don't even save with my company. And people who are saving with my company can't get one. How am I going to help you? She said, if you meet this couple, you will help me. So I came and told the tale, and he said to me, Mrs. Flowers, all you have to do, open an account. I did. The rest is history. We got the house, and we're still living there until this day.
Yeah, I see him. These stories are getting better and better, and we're coming to the end. The gentleman there with the microphone.
Thanks, Amanda. It's Carl Oxford. It's a question for Milton, to be honest. If you come back in, please, Mills. So I've been a colleague and an associate and a friend of Milton's for 30 years nearly, and tonight it just shows how much of a visionary he is. And that all that stuff that he reeled off in terms of all the products of KLTV is just, a glimpse of what talent and ability he has now. He's extended that into his team, Edwin and Chris and others. The question really is, I don't think we should underestimate the importance of this initiative launched tonight. I don't think it has relevance just for Huddersfield or West Yorkshire. I think it has significance for nationally in terms of the Windrush narrative. I've been involved in Windrush from the 50th anniversary back in '98, where we were part of a national BBC acknowledgement of the crossing of the Empire Windrush. And on a national level, we even, funded Clive Foster, who you heard now is the Commissioner for Windrush. But this is a game changer, Mills. And I'd like you to tell us what you think, how it could inform the step change that we need nationally on that narrative of Windrush, because unfortunately I think we've been lacking on a national level.
If I knew that, Carl, I'd be a rich man, trust me, right? But I will say this, right, that when the African descent community are together, we are so strong. And we shouldn't just come together to riot and protest. Yeah, we should come together. There's Errol Brown here, not because we have the same surname, but him and Carl are all over West Yorkshire arguing our case. But when they get back to grassroots communities, they don't really want to support them. And I think that's how we change the narrative, by these gatherings, getting together, supporting the initiatives that are going, and promoting the Carls, the Errols, the Louises, the Natalies, and Amanda. Even our you heard her today, she's been down there making a whole heap of noise on our behalf. The churches is another area that we could very much ask them to raise the profile of the plight, because I think the churches are the ones that I think can do much more. If you go to America, every pastor is more or less a politician or a councillor, and they use their agency to shape policy within their town or city. We've got so much here in Kirklees. You've heard about Venn Street and everything else. Debbie Johnson, you know, she's done DNA, genealogy. She's tracked her family tree. I don't know how deep, Debbie, how long?
It's going back further and further.
Yeah.
I'm exploring different lines now, because I've got 100% Irish relative that I want to go over to Herrera to visit.
Yeah, there you go. So,
yeah. Max Priest is my cousin.
there you go. Right. So there's, yeah, okay, Colin Powell. All right, whoa, there you go. So you understand what I'm saying? We have it, Carl, and I'm speaking to everyone else. We have it. We've just got to give our, what you call them, Windrush Warriors earlier, didn't you? Our Windrush Warriors agency. Make them know that when they walk in these rooms, walking in a room and there's full of white people and you're the only black person, it's a lonely place, or or someone of color. It's a lonely place, and we can't not support them. Give these people agency so they can carry our voices into these arenas. Thank you very much.
Okay. Last comment or question for Milton before we wrap things up? Anyone? I don't want to say anything about tonight. What are the thoughts about tonight? Excellent. And throw out some words. Excellent, amazing. Anything else?
It's powerful.
Powerful.
And I just think it's really powerful, but I also think that it's about the truth that we are speaking in this room. Because without truth, how do we get knowledge? How do we make people understand what we've actually experienced? It is about the truth, and a lot of people don't like sitting with the truth because they feel really uncomfortable about it. So it'll be shared or it'll be put somewhere else. But it is about speaking the truth.
Speaking the truth.
It's about speaking the truth and marching with that.
Speaking the truth, being authentic.
Yeah.
Wendy?
What it brought to me is that people are still coming on little dinghy boats. People are still coming, and what have we really learned from people coming? Our parents have been coming since 1948. What lessons have we learned so that it can be easier for other people to come here and to build a life? So it is about getting to policy makers and getting into Parliament and things like that, because there is a trajectory that people have come across. It's not there's so many lessons littered along our way. Why are they not using that for immigration today?
Really good questions. Excellent questions. Thank you. Nusrat?
Very charming man, even though I didn't want that car. He made me get that car. Yeah. Very, very good. But one of the quotes you said about when people die a library, they're a library. And I want to thank Milton, your team, to bringing that library to us. And I want to thank everybody for sharing your stories, because pleasant as they are not, it's an eye-opener, because it wasn't pleasant for anybody, whether you were Asian or whether you were black. I remember things my parents went through, things that we went through with our parents as children, and we lived on a street where our neighbours were black, and we still see them, and they helped us and we helped them. We were their support network and they were our support network, you know. So it also brought unity, you know, when other communities wouldn't accept people of colour, we accepted each other and we became that unity.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Nusrat. Errol, I'm going to give you the last word, because I know these guys wanted to wrap up half an hour ago.
Thank you. It's more of a statement. Yeah, it's just more of a statement. I'd like to thank Milton and the whole KLTV team for doing a fantastic job. Round of applause, please. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Flowers has twisted my arm. He can have the very, very last word ever.
Well, I'm Johnny, as most people know, which is not my real name, but that's what they call me. I didn't expect to say anything when I come here. All I wanted to do was to eat the chicken and the rice. That's what I thought it was. I wasn't even expecting to receive something, which what Milton has done. I think it's fantastic, and I really, really loved it. But I also something that bothers me all the time. It's been bothering me, and I know my family won't like me saying that. I think that we, as African descendants, has been brainwashed. We don't support each other. Not that we loved each other. We really loved each other. We can talk everything about it. But we don't support because we've been brainwashed not to think about it. But with what Milton's done here, it brings us together so that we can talk and we can express and show appreciation of what's happening to us. And I hope, Milton, you will continue to do this, and I hope the community will support what you're doing and realizing how good it is. So thank you very much for being here.
We're almost at the end, you'll be pleased to know. We just want to say a big thank you to you all for turning out this evening. Oh, sorry. Special thanks to all our guest speakers and our special guest, Helen Henderson, who's had to go, and Mr. Johnny Flowers. And we just want to present each of you with a special gift. I'm going to ask Diane Latouche to give a special gift to the Mayor, Deputy Mayor of West Yorkshire, Alison Lowe. Come. Next, Councillor Liz Mage. Come. Don't be shy now, Next, our local MP, Harpreet Upal. And to our wonderful host for this evening, my good friend, Councillor Amanda Pinnock. And although we have given you a DVD, Helen, we also want to give you some flowers, just as a special thanks for being with us this evening, for all the hard work you've done in supporting this project. So, the very last thing we want to kindly ask you is, you've all shared some comments, but we're going to put a QR code up on the screen. It's a very short survey, just asking for your response to this evening. If you can just answer the questions, click submit, we'd be absolutely grateful. Now, for those of you who are Luddites like me and like pen and paper, we've also got pen and paper, so if you want it in written form, and it's just a few tick boxes, just raise your hand and I'll get a sheet to you.
Okay, ladies and gents, while you're just taking in the QR code, none of this would have been possible. I know people have praised me tonight and said thank you, but I have to say, can we give a big A-class round of applause for Elder Edwin Baker? Yeah? Master of Ceremonies. Yeah? And since the project started, Edwin has been networking with just about everybody and keeping them all on task. Also, we have Michelle Brown there in the corner. Give her a round of applause. She's been doing our social media. Just to introduce you to the team, we've got Nico Coleman here. Yeah, Nico. Ryan in the background there. I think there's someone else. And Joe Lavin, who you met as when you was coming in. Put your hand up there, Joe. Big round of applause for Joe. I'll be honest with you, none of this could be possible without them. They give us agency, don't they, that we can get on with all the other stuff, and they deal with the nuts and bolts and the operational side. So thank you, team, and thank you, everyone. Over to you.
So please, I'm a beg you, please fill in the survey, please. If you want a hard copy, just put your hand up. I'll get one to you. If you can do it online, it's quick. 2 minutes. See, there you go.
Pen and paper.
Thank you.
Don't forget, we've got the pictures. Nico, get you.
Yeah. Okay. So can I just ask for our presenters and Helen and Johnny, if you can make your way next door, we just want to take a photograph with your DVDs, with your flowers and everything.
Oh, there, Kirklees.
Yeah.